everyone, welcome to our cozy little chat. My name is Linda from Midas Real Estate, and today we have Yoyo here as well. Today we're going to answer an important question that most home buyers and investors alike would want to know, and that is buying your first property as an investment property versus buying your first home as an owner-occupied property.
Hello everyone, my name is Yoyo. That's a very good question, Linda. I have summarized from three different aspects. First, government incentives. All the first home grants, stamp duty concessions and schemes are available for the first home buyers across the country. There are just a host of eligibility requirements from state to state. Unfortunately, those incentives doesn't apply to investors. Secondly, loan options. There are a list of differences between home loan versus investment loan. For instance, first home loan deposit scheme, which is from January 2020, the lenders will cover the cost of lending mortgage insurance for the approved first home buyers where they have at least 5% deposit. Another example is interest rates and the payment method. Interest rate for investment loan is slightly higher than the one for the home loan. Well, in saying that, investors have the option to pay interest only instead of paying principal plus interest, which can be a massive monthly savings. Borrowing capacity is another good example. Generally speaking, the lender tend to lend more to investors compared to homeowners as they take into account the rental income as well as negative gearings when accessing the borrowing capacity. Lastly, tax benefit. Because investment property is deemed as income-producing asset, which means any expenses incurred while generating that income is fully tax deductible. Well, there's no tax benefit for homeowners in most cases.
From my experience, I know that most people around me, they usually go down the route of buying their first home as an owner-occupier first, before buying their second property as an investment property. So what are the pros and cons of doing that, of buying your first home as an owner-occupied property?
Buying a home is the biggest financial decision for most of us. Before we make this decision, we need to ask ourselves, why are we looking to buy our first home? Is that because we don't want to miss out the government incentives? Or is that because I feel pride of the home ownership? Or is just a part of the wealth creation strategy? So what is your why? Once you have figured it out, let's have a look at the pros and cons of buying your first home. Pros. First, government incentives. As mentioned earlier, eligible first home owners will enjoy a list of government incentives, which could save between 10 grand to 40 grand, depending on the properties from state to state. Secondly, no capital gain tax. In most cases, you don't have to pay CGT when selling your own home, provided you live in it as your main residence. Third, stability. You don't need to worry about to move again, as no one can vacate you from your own home. Let's have a look at the cons. Firstly, higher monthly repayment, as most of the loan agreements for first home owners request paying principal plus interest, which means it costs more for monthly repayment. Secondly, no tax incentives. As mentioned earlier, in most cases, all the expenses incurred while holding your own home is not tax deductible. Lastly, less mobility. If one of the pros is stability, that means it will be more difficult to accept an attractive job offer requiring you to move to a different city.
So let's say I decided to do it the other way around. I decided to buy my first property as an investment property. What are the pros and cons of that, of doing it that way?
Many young homeowners have been locking out from the suburbs they wish to live because of the unaffordable prices. That's where the new trend of rent investing could help you get a foot in the property market sooner than later, which means rent the area you want to live and invest somewhere more affordable. But just like any investment strategy, there are pros and cons that should be considered. First, fast-track your savings. If the rent you receive is greater than the holding costs, you will benefit the additional income, which you can fast-track the mortgage repayment or save up for the next property. Second, tax benefit. With an investment property, all the associated cost is fully tax deductible, plus the depreciation cost every year, which all the tax refunds can help you fast-track your savings again. Last, balance the lifestyle and the investment goals. The best part about reinvesting is that you don't have to sacrifice your lifestyle, while at the same time, you can strategically build your property portfolio at a much faster pace, which you can use the equity and the fast-track savings to buy your dream home later. Let's talk about the cons. First, capital gain tax. CGT incurs when selling an investment property. Well, if you could hold it for more than 12 months, only tax 50% of any gains. Second, less control. The landlord has right and control over the property, which can create uncertainty for tenants. Last, stamp duty concessions. Buying an investment property doesn't necessarily disqualify you from receiving first home incentives on another property in the future, depending on where you live. However, you miss out the stamp duty concessions and exemptions. That's all for today's topic. I wish you enjoyed it. Be educated on all the pros and cons. Get advice from the right people and position yourself in the best possible way.
So thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for future property strategy videos. And if you would like to find out how we can personally help you, don't forget to click on the website below.